Hi. So, caught me staring at these tiny stuff. Think about it. Now, one small virus can ruin your life. This is why microbiologists are carefully studying the whole life cycle of a virus or a bacteria. How does it multiply? What does it eat? How does it breathe? What is its functions? And everything. Man, one wrong detail can lose the life of, say, millions. Ever noticed how the littlest things, a lost key or a sharp word, a nagging worry can mess up your whole day? So, should we pray to God about little things? Let's dive in. Think about the civilizations that have nailed the details, precision in the maths and art and engineering. They thrived. Egypt's pyramids stood tall because the stones fit within millimeters, aligned to the stars. Rome's aqueducts flowed because engineers nailed the slopes to the fraction of an inch. Now, God's got the same knack for details and He has passed it on to us. I think that is one attribute of God which we in the 21st century share than any other time in history. Now, in this generation, modern psychology has spurred our interest in daily emotional nuances. We have come to understand how words have deeper and lingering effects on our lives. These tiny nuances, grumpy thoughts, small spats, fleeting worries can snowball into a terrible day, messing with our work, relationship, and even our joy. If we ignore them, then we might spark anxiety or bitterness. That is why Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. Every evening, I journal my day's thoughts, jealousy, frustration, sadness. Why? Because our hearts are sensitive, and these tiny feelings can overwhelm us if we don't bring them to God. That is where prayer comes in. Paul says it the best. In Philippians chapter 4 verse 6, he says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. You know what makes a good story? Not just the plot, the tiny little details, the sights, the sounds, the smells that pull you in. A writer does not just use any phrase or word that comes to his mind. No, he is deliberate in his style because he has a specific intention in writing. God's like a master reader, noticing every detail of your life. Your choice of writing your own life narrative has to be deliberately pleasing to God. God's got an eye for every detail. Matthew chapter 10 verses 29 to 30 says, are not two sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. If God notices a sparrow's fall or counts my hairs, trust me, I'm losing a few over here. He cares about my small worries too. Prayers like handing over the tiny tiles of my life to God, who crafts them into a beautiful mosaic. Every thought, every feeling belongs to His throne. My prayer journal helps me catch those little things, bitterness, worry, even joy, and I give it all to God. It keeps me close to Him, growing my faith. So, should you pray about the little things? You bet. No details too small for God's big heart. So, here's a phrase to stick with you. No prayers too small. God catches them all. Is waiting to hear every bit of your day. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. If you are struggling in this or have any prayer request, call the CBN prayer line on 9910401010 and the team will be praying for you.